At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the San Diego Padres. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Citi. For each Mets home run at Citi Field, Citi will donate $2,000 to No Kid Hungry. By your Tri-State Cadillac dealers, visit your Tri-State Cadillac dealer today. By the New York Lottery, visit sny.tv/New York Lottery to enter the Mets Swing for the Fences promotion for a chance to win $15,000. And by Tri Honda, contact your local Honda dealer today. Well, it was a beautiful afternoon today. Would have been a perfect day for a day game. Padres bus pulling up to Citi Field. They were anxious to get things going. Nelson Cruz now with the Padres. Juan Soto now with the Padres. Of course, why wouldn't the Padres be anxious to get back to Citi Field? After all, the last time they were here, they had cause for celebration. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets open a three-game series against the San Diego Padres, who last year beat the Mets 2-1 in the wild card series with all three games played here at Citi Field. The Padres spent a lot of money in the winter. They re-signed some of their own. They signed Xander Bogaerts to a big new contract. This is a team in a smaller market that is really going for it.
Well, all the talk is about the New York Met owner, Steve Cohen. Well, they've got an owner in San Diego that wants to win as well. They have the third highest payroll in the major leagues. He wants to win. They've got Josh Hader that has joined. They're the all-star closer. They're going without the services of Francisco Tatis. He's serving out a suspension. When they get him back to go with Machado, Juan Soto, and Xander Bogaerts, this is a very potent lineup.
It certainly is a team that is expected to hit. They haven't hit much yet other than Bogaerts. Neither of the Mets. The Mets also haven't pitched particularly well, especially their starters.
You know, Gary, it's the third time through the rotation with Max pitching tonight, and other than Senga and probably Tyler and McGill, who've been very, very good, they've been trying to find that consistency with the rest of the rotation. If you look at the starts Max Scherzer has had so far this year, it's been real good early, but the sixth inning has really been his bugaboo. He'll try to be better tonight.
It'll be the same matchup that went head-to-head in Game 1 of the wild card series last year, with Scherzer going for the Mets.
Scherzer is outstanding, going against Darvish for the fifth time. But when you watch Max is right now, his velocity is a little down. And his breaking pitches have not been as sharp. And it's really the home run ball. One year he led the league in giving up home runs and still had a fantastic season, but the home runs have hurt him this year.
Darvish has dominated the Mets every time he has faced them, particularly in that postseason game last year.
Well, 7 innings, only gave up an earned run. His breaking balls were snapping off. He has one of the best selections, 8 or 9 pitches that he can throw at any time. One of the best in the game.
And at age 36, he's got a new 6-year contract. It's the Mets and the Padres from Citi Field. All the action coming up on SNY. The official finance software partner of Major League Baseball. By your local Ford stores. For current offers, visit buyfordnow.com. And by Catholic Health, long live Long Island. With the regular season done, Ian has a preview of the Knicks-Cavs playoff series on the latest putback with Ian Begley. Check it out now on SNY's YouTube page. Driver on the Majors, presented by your Tri-State Audi dealers. Cruel blow for the Pirates. They lose their star young shortstop O'Neal Cruz probably until August with a broken ankle. Jordan Walker for the Cardinals, just 20 years old, enormous, and he's got a 9-game hitting streak, longest for a 20-year-old to start a career since Ted Williams. And Carlos Correa, good news, his ankle's fine, but he's got some back tightness. It's the Mets and the Padres coming up from Citi Field. First pitch is coming right up. He'll be on deck to start this game. And if Max Scherzer looks in and sees Trent Grisham in the batter's box and has a little snarl on his face, you'll know why. Grisham hit one of the 4 home runs against Max in that Game 1 of the wild card series last year. Grisham was the surprise star of that series, went 4 for 8 with 2 home runs. Scherzer on a different day now gets set to face the Padres. His first pitch is inside for ball 1, and we're underway. Grisham hit just 184 in the regular season last year with 17 home runs. And after his 4 for 8 against the Mets, he ended up going 0 for 19 in the LCS against the Phillies with Scherzer.
See the Toyota numbers for Max through those first 2 starts, not Maxian numbers so far.
Maxian, I like that. It's like G-Terrian. And the cutter misses inside. Grisham held the swing, 2-1. Trent Grisham, now 26 years old, first round pick by the Brewers, for whom he had his first postseason experience, not a good one, when he let a ball go by him against the Nats in the Nationals championship season in 2019.
He's got a nice looking brush working. Full.
Ooh, that is a nice one. Hanging down over the lip and everything. A little Western look. And Scherzer picks off the inside corner at the knees. 3-2. Lance Barksdale calling the balls and strikes tonight. Manny Machado waits on deck. Then Juan Soto in this power-packed San Diego lineup. Grisham uses his timeout.
They have not been hitting of late. They have come in averaging 5 runs over their first 10 games, but they scored 11 last night in Atlanta. It took the Braves 3 out of 4.
Won the last 3 in that series. Grisham gets a curveball and fouls it off. Interesting choice there from Scherzer, a 3-2 curve.
So they come in here with a little momentum. They got to be feeling good about themselves going on the road in Atlanta and putting a whooping on them.
Well, especially after getting booed at home during their first series of the year when they weren't scoring much. And Grisham takes ball 4, and he's aboard to start the night. And here is that San Diego lineup brought to you by Hyundai. The newcomer Xander Bogaerts and the cleanup spot Matt Carpenter, who had such a great stretch for the Yankees last year, now DHing some for the Padres. Melvin in his second year as San Diego skipper. And a 3-time manager of the year in one dugout, a 4-time manager of the year in the other. Here's Manny Machado, who also homered against Max in that postseason game, and Max throws a fastball down the middle that Machado misses, 0-1. Manny's got 3 home runs against Max total, if you include that postseason long ball.
Yet to hit one this season.
This will be a good idea where Max is right now at this time of the year. In the past, Machado's 9 for 53 with 20 strikeouts. So Max has been able to handle him quite easily.
Manny Machado, 30 years old, 283 home runs, 1,609 hits. And a good slider by Scherzer, changeup, and it's 1-2.
Fastball away, changeup down and in.
Grisham at first. Time asked for by Machado.
Machado got it this time. He was thrown out of the game recently because he was not granted time.
Well, he had the first clock violation in spring training. Also had the clock violation on a strikeout after the season started. 1-2 from Scherzer. Bounces that slider, throw to first, and a great play by Alonso to save Nido an error.
Nido with the my bad. Great pick. Nido's so good at making these picks, and when he does that, throwing behind the runner is an opportune time. Just Pete had to go far to his left to keep it in play.
Two coming to Machado, and he struck him out, threw a fastball right by him. Started him off with a fastball, finished him with a fastball, and Machado unable to touch either one. That's the first out of the night.
When Max has that good fastball, it has to carry. What does that mean? When he throws that four-seamer on the outside part, it seems or looks like it's rising. It's not, but that's what the hitter sees in the ball by Machado.
Now Juan Soto, trying to bounce back from a subpar year last year, which featured his trade to the Padres. Has not gotten off to a great start this year either. Just 8 for 37 to begin the year.
Just 125, 2 for 16 against left-handers. It's early.
Well, it wouldn't be concerning for Soto at all if he had had a normal Soto type year last year.
You're right. Talented writer that covers the San Diego Padres, Dennis Lin, said he's been concerned about opening his hip too quickly, and also been complaining about the pitch timer as well.
Well, he's a guy who likes to take time. He has his routine that he goes through before the pitch and after the pitch. Likes to do the little strut. Takes a call strike, and it's 2-1. Against the Mets since 2019, when he first came to the big leagues full time, first full season, he has more home runs, more RBIs, more walks, more extra base hits against the Mets than any other player. Of course, most of that time spent in the same division in Washington, and the curveball bounced foul, and it's 2-2.
Good curveball from Max, the second good one he's thrown. And your Lexus Metropolitan defense, Guillorme with the start at second base. Nito another start behind the plate. Marte, of course, more of a neck issue with Marte, which I was fearful of. Thus, we have McNeil out in right field.
I don't think it's anything serious with Marte. He's just a little banged up with that neck. Might be available tonight off the bench. 2-2 coming. And Soto fouls back a high fastball.
Keith, you mentioned Nito. Last year, he caught 16 of Max's 23 starts. In those starts, Max's ERA was 2.02. They've got a good relationship together.
Xander Bogaerts on deck. Soto hasn't faced Scherzer much, of course, because they used to share the same dugout. He's only got 3 regular season at-bats against Max, and one of those, he hit a home run. Max misses down with the changeup, and it's 3-2. Deep counts to each of the first 3 batters for Scherzer, who had a rough beginning against Milwaukee and then a rough finish. Gave up 2 in the first and then 3 straight home runs in his last inning in the 6th. And the second time in his career he had given up 3 straight home runs. And Nito calls time because the Mets were about to run out of time.
Max didn't want him to come out because that's what he did that on purpose. He was kind of freezing Soto, then he was going to disengage and then come back and pitch. So Nito I
think Nito felt as though he was saving him a violation, and he and Scherzer were not quite on the same page as far as that was concerned. So it goes down as a mound visit. 3-2 with 1 out. Grisham at first.
Gotta feel he'll be running here with Soto doesn't strike out.
He's going. Soto fouls away another changeup. Soto won a batting championship in 2020 in the shortened season at .351 that year, .242 last year, which is just stunning, although he did lead the league in walks for the second straight year. Grisham was running on the first 3-2 pitch, and Max this time throws over. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat coming from Scherzer to Soto. Nito setting up inside. Center cutter, and he fouled it back. It was such a nice day in New York today.
It certainly was.
It's 57 degrees now.
It's supposed to be 80 degrees by the end of the week.
That's a day game Wednesday. That should be a perfect day to play. Scherzer working hard against his former mates. 3-2, and it's low, ball 4.
Just missed.
Second walk of the inning. Grisham that time was not running on the 3-2 pitch after running the first couple. But now Scherzer's walked 2 of the first 3. Xander Bogaerts, who's been the only hot bat in the San Diego lineup through the first week and a half of the season, will bat with 2 men on. Bogaerts signed an 11-year, $280 million contract after opting out with the Red Sox. Four-time All-Star, spent 10 years in Boston, and now a Padre for life. And he takes the first pitch, slider for a strike, 0-1. Bogaerts last year hit .307, 15 home runs. He's hit as many as 33 home runs in a season. His power down last year. And Bogaerts grounds one to short, a chance for 2. Lindor to Guillorme and on to first. Double play, side retired. 6-4-3 double play gets Scherzer out of trouble in the first. 89 games in the regular season, but they upset the Mets in the wild card round, and then after losing 14 of 19 to the Dodgers in the regular season, they beat the Dodgers 3-1 in the division series, only to fall to the Phillies in the league championship series 4-1. Really quite the unlikely league championship series, the Phillies and the Padres, 2 wild card teams. But that's the crapshoot that is postseason baseball. Yu Darvish throws his first pitch breaking ball low and in for ball 1.
Unusually wild was Yu Darvish in his debut start last Tuesday against Arizona. 95 big league wins.
Nimmo trying to snap an 0-for-10 stretch, although he's been walking plenty during that period of time. And he takes a high slider for a strike, and it's 1-1. Nimmo, Lindor, and McNeil, with Marte out of the lineup. That's the top 3 against Darvish, who has never lost to the Mets. 5-0 regular season, and then the postseason win last October, and went up against Scherzer, went 7 innings, allowed a run on 6 hits, and a 7-1 Padre win. That's then won the second game behind Jacob deGrom, only to get 1 hit in the third and final game by Joe Musgrove and the Padre bullpen. Change up away, and it's 2-2 to Nimmo. The regular season numbers for Darvish against Mets. Look at the whip. That's startling.
They had his pitch usage on the board. They only listed 7.
Gets one out of the fists of Nimmo, and he pops one for Machado. That's what you call some weak contact. 1 out.
Oh, he got jammed.
Try-high dealers, Mets starting lineup. With Marte out, McNeil moves up to the 3-hole. Guillorme in the lineup. Nito catches today. Buck Showalter said probably Francisco Alvarez catching David Peterson tomorrow. Here's Lindor. Took an 0 for yesterday against Miami. And he gets a first pitch slider and pulls it foul. I mean, there's been so much talk about the long-term deals that the Padres have handed out to guys like Machado and Tatis and Bogaerts. But how about signing a 36-year-old pitcher to a 6-year contract extension? Not too many teams do that. But Darvish has been so good in his middle 30s, they're banking on him continuing to have success into his 40s.
Well, A.J. Preller, head of baseball operations, GM, said, listen, this guy is a physical specimen. So his 36 is different than other 36s. That's the one thing that's changed, right? The information we got about 10 years ago is that the older player would have a hard time being signed. Older players being signed all around the league.
Well, it used to be in the 25 years ago, they considered your prime 28 to 32. Then it became everybody in their 20s is valuable and everybody in their 30s toss them in the trash. Now, because of nutrition and sports science and all the ways in which guys can enhance their performance at older ages, the equation has changed again.
It's interesting to watch Darvish. He's calling his own game, and he's got the buttons, at least 7 or 8 on his belt, and that's what he goes to call the game.
Well, something he needs, because last year he was among the 4 slowest workers among starting pitchers in the majors. And with the pitch clock, he's had to make an adjustment. And he just missed below the knees with a splitter, and it's 2-2. And I was shocked when Chris Bassett was not in the top 4. Fastball below the knees, and it's 3-2. You mentioned Darvish in the walks. Last year, 1.7 walks per 9. He just didn't walk anybody, and then 4 walks in 5 innings in his first start against Arizona this year. And Lindor swings through the slider for strike 3. First strikeout for Darvish, 2 down.
That was like a wiffle ball he flipped up there. See the grip? Ball starts off the plate away. Bends right at the top of the zone, swung through by Lindor.
And your NYU Lango and Padre defense, Austin Nola behind the plate. Machado, 2-time Gold Glover. He's going to have a hard time getting some Gold Gloves with Arenado in the league, and they're in the same league, but still a quality fielder. In the outfield, Soto playing left field. This is his 11th start there. First 10 games out there in left. He's been a right fielder most of his career.
We'll have to get used to left, because right field is going to belong to Fernando Tatis when he comes back. Ha-Sung Kim handles McNeil's ground ball, and Darvish has a 1-2-3 opening inning. No score after 1. All 3 games at Citi Field. Max Scherzer and Chris Bassett had rough starts. Jacob deGrom got the only win for the Mets in Game 2. Darvish and Musgrove were unhittable. So was the Padre bullpen, and Padres sent the Mets packing. Second inning, Matt Carpenter will lead off against Max Scherzer. Carpenter had a resurrection to his career last year in the Bronx. 154 at bats. He had 15 home runs and batted .305. Now sharing the DH role with Nelson Cruz, who had a huge day yesterday. Cruz drove in 6 runs. He's going to be 43 this summer. He was the 3rd oldest player to drive in 6 runs in a game. Only Barry Bonds and Carlton Fisk drove in 6 runs at a grander age than Nelson Cruz.
7 for his last 13. It had to be hard, or it had to. Bob Melvin must have given it some thought, because Cruz has some outstanding numbers against Max Scherzer. 14 for 34, 3 doubles, 3 home runs.
Carpenter's 8 for 31 against Max at .258 clip. Max tries the cutter, and it's down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carpenter's now 37 years old. Had some really good years with the Cardinals, MVP caliber years. Tries to hold, but he went around strike 3. And right back with the same pitch. That low cutter. And it's the second strikeout for Scherzer. 1 down in the second.
He wanted to bite on the one prior. That's why he came back with the same pitch.
Not so sure he went. He's disbelieving.
So 1 out now, Jake Cronenworth. Cronenworth just got himself a new contract extension, 7 years, $80 million. That kicks in next year. He's made the All-Star team each of the last 2 years. And the curveball drops in for a strike, 1-1. Cronenworth has been primarily a second baseman, but now pressed into duty as a first baseman, because they really don't have anybody else to play first base.
A little different tempo for Max in tonight's game. Not really messing around, delaying, holding the hitters. He's really just working at the Scherzer tempo.
Well, Buck said it to us the other day. You know, it's one thing for Max to try and gain every advantage from the pitch clock, but at the end of the day, got to pitch and not get distracted by the pitch clock and what you might be able to manipulate with it. 2-2 coming, and a check swing foul.
His tempo has produced a Hall of Fame career. Don't change a thing.
Cronenworth, regular season and postseason combined, is 0 for 15 against Scherzer. In fact, Cronenworth went hitless in the series against the Mets last year in the postseason. He went 0 for 13 in that series. Ha-Seong Kim waiting on deck. And Cronenworth breaks his bat as he flies one out to McNeil. And he comes in to get it 2 out. So 2 out and nobody on tonight. City Community Home Runs fan of the game is Jennifer from Houston, Texas. Not Houston Street, Houston, Texas. Go to sny.tv/CHR to enter. Good luck, Jennifer. So 2 out and nobody on. Here's Ha-Seong Kim. Kim is now a second baseman full-time with the acquisition of Xander Bogaerts, even though Kim is probably a better defensive shortstop than Xander Bogaerts. But, you know, you give a guy $280 million to play a certain position, you're not going to mess with him.
Kim has been a really good player for them since he's signed.
Got more power than people think.
Yeah, coming off 2 home run game yesterday.
11 home runs last year. Scherzer looking for a clean inning, ahead 1-2. And that's pulled foul. Padres were scuffling before they took those last 3 in Atlanta. They're 6-4 to start the year. That leaves them tied at the top of the NL West. And Scherzer gets a call, 3rd strike on the inside corner with a fastball. His 3rd strikeout. He's got a 1-2-3 second. No score. Pete Alonso leads off at the home second for New York. He had an RBI single yesterday. 4 home runs in his last 4 games. Tied for the National League lead in home runs and second in RBIs. Leading off against Yu Darvish in the home second. He takes a cutter outside for ball 1. For a strike, 1-1. Pete's now hit 65 home runs in this ballpark. Only 2 players have hit more. Lucas Duda hit 71. Michael Conforto 66. Oh, wait, nice to see Michael off to a good start. Here are Alonso's home runs this year.
Well, Pete has, like a lot of hitters, trending. The right-hand hitters are low ball hitters. Pete likes the ball down. And you can see that 4 out of the 5 home runs are pitches down in the strike zone. Pete will kill you down there.
Tells you also Pete's become a good breaking ball hitter.
Yes. He's just getting better and better.
1-2 from Darvish. And he pins the inside corner for strike 3 call.
I'll say one thing about Pete. You know, that was a borderline strike. Pitcher got the call. Pete doesn't argue, you know. He's got a lot of class up there, a lot of professionalism. I thought that ball might have been in.
So Darvish has retired the first 4 with a couple of strikeouts. And now Daniel Vogelbach. Vogelbach takes a strike.
I feel like Vogelbach tonight is going to see one of those 55-mile-an-hour curveballs from Darvish.
Keith, that little hesitation that Darvish has when he dangles his leg.
Yeah.
Is that concerning to a hitter?
You know, I think it could be. I would love to be able to tell you by my personal experience by being in the box, but I got to think it's a little deceptive here.
Off the fist, little pop up into shallow center. On comes Grisham, and he can't make the catch. Vogelbach will stop at first as Soto backed up the play. Grisham, a two-time Gold Glover in center field, could not quite get there, and Vogelbach has the Mets' first hit.
Darvish got a good breaking ball. That ball just broke in and got in on his hands. But you got to respect the power in the outfield defensively with Vogelbach. He's got pop. Grisham can't get there.
Nice play by Soto to back up. Otherwise, Vogelbach would have been at second. Here's Marcana. 4 hits in his last 2 games for Mark. And takes first pitch slider for a strike. 0-1.
He's got a good late break on his slider.
I mean, how do you even think about what to look for?
To look for a fastball when you've got a guy that has this kind of stuff, Gary. You got to go up there, look fastball, and adjust. You can't think with this guy that can throw a variety of pitches at you. You can't get caught up in that.
Cutter, slider, curveball, changeup, split. A little bit on fingers. That's why he has to call his own game. 0-2 to Canna. And he grounds one down to third. Machado's got it to second one. Kim on to first. Wide throw. And safe at first is Canna. So it could have been an inning-ending double play with a better throw from Kim.
Well, it's a perfect feed from Machado. And Kim just... he had a tough grip. You see, he had a bad grip.
Vogelbach peeled off, so there's no one in front of him.
So that leaves Canna at first with 2 down after the 5-4 fielder's choice. And here's Luis Guillorme making his 4th start in the first 11 games. And he takes the first pitch slider for a strike.
Darvish liking his breaking ball tonight.
Guillorme 3 for 16 to begin the year. Gets a curveball and grounds it slowly to Kim, who backs off and makes the play to retire the side. A hit and 1 left after 2. Mets nothing. Padres nothing. Third inning, no score. Rougned Odor will lead off for the Padres, and we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
So, Gary, solid first couple of innings for Max Scherzer, but one thing to watch here moving forward tonight and really in the early going this season is how he does putting hitters away with 2 strikes. That's been the main point of frustration for Scherzer through his first 2 starts of the season. He's gotten into pretty good counts, but he's just been able to finish guys off with swing and miss stuff. His whiff rate with 2 strikes is about half of what it was a season ago. And so tonight, yeah, he's gotten 3 strikeouts, but he's had 16 pitches thrown with 2 strikes, only has gotten 2 swings and misses. Scherzer does not feel like it's a stuff issue. He feels like it's maybe that he's becoming a little too predictable and might need to change with the program a little bit, because he says guys are on pitches that in the past he feels like they weren't.
Another thing to watch is his first 3 pitches of this inning. 3 fastballs, 91, 91, and 92. It's a little alarming. Gets one in for a strike, and it's 3-1.
Well, his velocity has dipped from the last couple of seasons, but you know, he's been able to always evolve and find a new pitch and find a new way.
Well, he threw 195 to strike out Kim to end the second, but he's been all 91s and 92s to start against Odor here in the third. And, you know, there are certain pitchers that say, well, he's taking something off, he's putting something on. Well, that's not Max.
No.
He's a max effort guy if there ever was one. It's more of a Justin Verlander thing to change speed on your fastball. Hopefully we'll get to see that before too terribly long. Odor just got a piece of it to stay on the at-bat.
And guys, one other thing to watch just in these 2-strike counts, he's thrown 24 changeups in 2-strike counts this season so far. 0 swings and misses on that pitch, which is a marked difference from his career. That's been a pretty good swing and miss pitch for him in his career. So very early on, but just something to keep an eye out for.
And Odor draws the leadoff walk, so that's 3 walks in the first 8 batters for Scherzer.
That was that change up there, Steve, on the 3-2 count to Odor. Good eye.
After he swung through 2 straight fastballs, big uppercut swing.
So Scherzer's had to work awfully hard these first few innings, through 23 pitches in the first inning, 17 in the second. There's Austin Nola, Padre catcher, 3 for 23 on the year, and he drops down a bunt that hits him in the batter's box. 0-1. Nola had a good series against the Mets.
Yes.
I mean, the 8 and 9 hitters were Grisham and Nola. Grisham went 4 for 8 with 2 home runs. Nola went 4 for 9.
It's always the guys that you least expect. Happens a lot in postseason.
And a throw to first, and this one goes down the line, but backed up by McNeil. The throw to second base, and it gets on by Lindor, but backed up by Escobar. So a throwing error for Nito moves Odor to second base.
Well, that's 2 for 2 from Tomas. Oh, he was way off the base. I can see why he threw. They may have had a chance to get him with a good throw.
Alert base running, get up and get on to second for Odor.
Now the corners pinch in looking for the bunt after Nola was showing bunt with the runner at first. And this time he's set to swing, but he takes a fastball for a strike. Trent Grisham waits on deck. Time asked for by Nola. Hey, in Philly tonight, we saw a dodo bird. The Phillies put up a 5-spot against Sandy Alcantara in the 3rd. It's the last time that happened. Thought the dodo was extinct. 1-2 coming. Change-up misses, and it's 2-2.
It went the way of the duck-billed platypus.
No more duck-billed platypus?
They're around.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. Just thought I'd throw it in there.
How about the 3-toed giant sloth? 2-2 on the way. And that slider off the plate and another full count. So that's 5 full counts in the first 9 batters for Scherzer. It's a slog so far, even though he hasn't yet allowed a hit. And Nola hits a ground ball. Advancing is Odor. Lindor throws out Nola for the first out. A good base running by Odor. He's the 3rd with 1 out.
And the rule is anything directly at the shortstop or up the middle, you go to 3rd. But the ball's hit slowly. And look at the big lead he had. And it's not hit hard. That's very alert base running.
Infield comes in with Trent Grisham at the plate. Grisham walked, leading off the ball game, and Scherzer steps off.
Did he get charged with the disengagement?
Well,
I think so.
Should.
Yep. Well, there's just so much to think about now, isn't it? I mean, the pitcher, Scherzer's focus should be on the target and what he wants to do.
I mean, he almost balked when he disengaged. There's a good cutter in that lower part of the strike zone. He gets a swinging strike.
And infield in early in this game. I can kind of see it in a pitching duel like this with 2 all-star pitchers.
I have to tell you, the trend in baseball has been that everybody brings their infield in with a runner at 3rd and 1 out. You know?
I forget to ask Buck because he does it as well. Buck does it as well. What is his thought process?
The algorithm says that's what it is.
I think the figuring is if you're more likely to give up a single, so be it. It's just 1 run. If theory being it's hard to string singles together. Half swing, and he went around, and it's 1-2 to Grisham.
The old changeup in the dirt hit right off the plate.
There's a swing and miss on that changeup.
Dan Mertzel made the call there. Is he a new umpire? That's a name I haven't seen.
Scherzer looking for the strikeout against Grisham. Ahead 1-2. Grisham able to foul back the fastball. By the way, got an answer to the question. Last time Sandy Alcantara gave up at least 5 runs in an inning, August of 2021, 8 runs by the Rockies at Coors Field.
Oh, that can happen to the best of them.
Gets an asterisk. Scherzer struck out 3 tonight. Make it 4 as he gets Grisham looking. That's a big one for Scherzer, pinning the runner at third. Now there are 2 out.
That's what happens when you get looking over 2 strikes.
Pitching decisions presented by Sage, the official finance software partner of Major League Baseball.
Well, Machado coming up now. This is the pitch sequence from his prior at bat. Slider away, missed bat, but then came back with the fastball. This Padres team against the Heat, batting .215 against fastballs.
First pitch breaking ball, and Machado swings and misses. Different program from Max this time. Machado struck out that first time. And he chases another slider, and it's 0-2. So after a leadoff walk, an error, and a ground out, put a runner at third with 1 out. Now Max has a path out of the inning.
Sometimes the hitter dictates what pitch you have to throw. He looked so bad on those first 2.
Did he go? He did not. Will Little, the first base umpire, says no, 1-2.
Wonder if that's a setup for a fastball up and in.
In the past, Max's go-to would be a fastball as hard as he can throw it.
1-2 coming. Stays with the breaking ball down. 2-2. It's regular season for Machado, although he did homer against Scherzer in the postseason last year. Now the 2-2. Stays with the slider. So a heavy diet of sliders after he missed the first 2, but now it's full count. Juan Soto would be next. 6 full counts for Scherzer already. And Machado pops it up. Straight up. Nito doesn't know where it is, but Escobar does. And Escobar catches it in fair territory to retire the side. A walk and a runner left at third. Still no score. Introducing the Mets triple play. It's a 3-game steal. Bundle 3 games and get 20% off your entire purchase. Get yours now at Mets.com/triple play. Well, when the Mets faced Darvish in the wild card round last year, the only run they scored was on an Eduardo Escobar home run. Escobar leading off for the Mets in the home third against Darvish. Fouls away the slider, and it's 0-2. Escobar has shown some signs of life the last 2 days. Home run on Saturday, doubled yesterday. Trying to get his season jump started. And he grounds one to short, circling on it is Bogarts, and the throw on the move gets Escobar one away.
Nice play by Bogarts. And just kind of coming up with the kind of circling it and throwing on the run. Always a sinker when they throw on the run, and that's actually infielder. All infielders. The ball always run into the runner.
aiming at the first baseman's right shoulder, right?
I always used to give a target on the outfield side of first base.
Figuring that the ball would run back to you.
Yeah, but that's because they're throwing on the run like that. It's going to be a big sinker.
Tomas Nido 2 for 16 to start the season. Flails with the slider, and it's 1-1.
Yu Darvish is from the school of no pitch will be straight. It is going to have some kind of movement or spin.
Lifted in the shallow right, backpedaling is Kim. 2 out. So 2 out and nobody on. And here's Brandon Nimmo, who popped up his first time up. Darvish dominated the Mets in the regular season last year. He dominated them in the postseason, and he's picking up right where he left off. Because he is such a strike thrower, he tends to get deep into games, and that's something the Padres have done well early this season, even without Joe Musgrove in their rotation. They're averaging more innings per start than any National League team. Part of that is that they're going with a 6-man rotation, so that has spread out the starts and allowed their starters to go deeper. Blake Snell, who's going to pitch on Wednesday in the final game of the series. Curveball in on the hands of Nimmo, and he fouls it off 1-2. Well, that was the quote from Brandon after the Mets lost to the Padres last year. Nobody cares how you do in the regular season. We care that we lost these last 2.
Well, it's always disappointing.
And when he said that, there was no guarantee that Brandon would ever get to play for the Mets again. He grounds this one up the middle, past a diving Kim and into center field. And the Mets have their second hit. Brandon had some serious dalliances. He had a lot of people interested in him, but ultimately he stayed home with the Mets, and they are thrilled that he did.
Just a really fine at bat as well, Gary. That was 2-strike count. Could change up out of the strike zone down, but just a quality at bat.
Here's Lindor with 2 out and a runner at first. And there goes Nimmo, first pitch. The throw by Nola on a hop, and safe. Nimmo's got his 3rd stolen base of the year. He has matched his total from all of last year.
I think this is not just a passing fad, Gare. I think this is Nimmo's going to get on his horse this year.
Well, Darvish is a guy who, if you get on base, you got to run on him.
After 2019, see the good jump by Brandon. Bogart thought he might have tagged him on the foot before his hand got in, but no replay. New replay coming. 24 steals. That's a Major League Baseball high when he was with the Cubs 2019.
And Lindor is hit by the pitch. Slider that ran in on his leg. So that is 10 Mets who have been hit in their first 11 games. And 2 men on for McNeil.
Last 34 stolen base attempts against Darvish, 30 successful.
Noah Syndergaard's handling the running game this year. He had a tough start for the Dodgers the other day. Here's McNeil, who grounded out to second base his first time up. 2 out and 2 on. And Jeff rips one into right field for a base hit. That'll bring in Nimmo in the first run of the game. Lindor digging for third. Played off the wall by Odor. They're going to send Lindor home. The throw by Kim to the plate. Not in time. McNeil to third. It's 2-0 New York. Two-run double for Jeff McNeil as Lindor scores all the way from first, and the Mets jump in front.
McNeil jumping on a first pitch breaking ball. Got it up and over the middle, flattened out. He wanted it on the back door, and McNeil up to it. Just such a good first ball hitter. Good relay home, but too much speed on the bases.
I'm sure that when Joey Cora was making his decision to send Lindor, he took into account the fact that Rougned Odor before this week had never played a game in the outfield in his life. But Odor actually handled it perfectly.
But Neal, on the backside, never hesitated going to third on the throw home. That's just good fundamental base running.
Really wasn't Odor's fault. The ball stuck against the fence, never bounced back to him.
He handled it as well as you could handle it.
That was the difference.
Hit the relay man, and Kim's throw wasn't bad home, but Lindor was just too fast.
He's checking the throw. He sees it. He's picked up his third base coach. That's just heads up.
Fourth double of the year for Jeff. Alonso trying to bring him in, down to the count 1-2. Pete struck out his first time up. And Alonso pops one a mile high into shallow center. On comes Grisham to call and makes the catch to retire the side. Didn't know how many out there were.
But it's a good throw to the plate.
2-run double for Jeff McNeil, puts the Mets in front 2-0 after 3. Stream every out-of-market MLB game live or on demand, and stream all minor league baseball games. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Nice night in New York.
Beautiful.
Can you pass over a ball? Maybe on a nice little matzo. Max Scherzer stayed to a 2-0 lead. Juan Soto takes a fastball for a strike.
Big inning for Scherzer. Two reasons. One, you always want to put up a zero after your team has scored you a couple. But second, needs an easy inning, a quick inning, because of the pitch count.
Soto takes one just below the knees. Soto walked his first time up. He's now walked 4 times against Scherzer since the start of last year. No other batters walked more than once against him. Change up away, and it's 2-1. So Sandy Alcantara wound up giving up 9 runs tonight in 4 innings plus.
Oh boy, that ERA is going to balloon.
9-0 Phillies in the 6th. Wow. Soto jumps back, and it's 3-1. Bogarts and Carpenter to follow for the Padres, who have drawn 3 walks from Scherzer, but are looking for their first hit.
Interesting. Soto used a timeout on 3-1. I think he's uncomfortable. He's been vocal about the pitch clock, so I just feel it's his count to hit. I want to be ready.
And another changeup. That one's in for a strike, and it's 3-2.
And a good one to take. 3-1. Knee high outside corner sinking. That's not one to hit with a 3-1 count.
7 full counts now for Scherzer in the first 12 batters. And the curveball popped up. Escobar a long run to try and get there, and he does. Nice play by Escobar, was shifted over toward the shortstop position and hustled over to make the play. Seven full counts in your first 12 batters. It's got to be exhausting.
70 pitches.
There's Bogarts, who grounded into a double play to end the first inning. Xander Bogarts, a native of Aruba, where of course he was an Andrew Jones fan because Andrew was a big star from the sister island of Curacao. But the guy he idolized was Hanley Ramirez.
You can see that. Kind of a similar follow through there.
Of course, Hanley played shortstop for the Red Sox, and
nice.
That look in Max's eyes. Which one? The brown one or the blue one? What does he say? The brown one is the baseball eye?
Yeah, that's the competitive eye. Blue one's the charming eye.
I'll put a spell on you.
1-2 coming. Lifted in the air to right center. McNeil and Nimmo both calling, and it's Nimmo who makes the catch. As McNeil just ducked away at the last moment.
McNeil wanted it, but he deferred to the police chief, the center fielder.
I'd love to see McNeil get a few reps in center. Buck has talked about that.
He could play anywhere
on days that Nimmo, needs a day off. Because the Mets really don't have a natural center fielder. LaCastro, Pham, Canna can all play there, but I'd love to see how McNeil handles that spot, because he's certainly handled left, right, and second base tremendously. The place he never looked comfortable was at third, and they tried him there. Matt Carpenter takes curveball out of the strike zone, 1-1. Carpenter struck out his first time up. Grounds one foul on another curveball, and it's 1-2. Scherzer's retired his last 5, looking for a 1-2-3 inning. And Carpenter swings and misses at a fastball. 5 strikeouts for Max Scherzer in the first 4 innings. A shutdown inning for Max, and it's 2-0 in the 4th. Here are your City probables for the remainder of the series. We'll have the lefties on the slate, which means Daniel Vogelbach won't be in the lineup the next 2 days. David Peterson and Ryan Weathers, 2 lefties, go tomorrow night. Tyler McGill against the lefty Blake Snell on Wednesday afternoon. Vogelbach had the Mets' first hit, a pop fly that fell just beyond the reach of a diving Grisham in center field. Vogelbach's on base percentage up to .444. Draws a lot of walks. He's been a very productive player since getting to the Mets. And Darvish falls behind on the count 3-0. So the Mets faced Darvish twice in the regular season last year and once in the postseason, and never got more than 1 run against him in any of those 3 starts. So they're way ahead of the game already tonight.
3-0 breaking ball.
Coming into this game, the Mets, all the different lineups they've had against Darvish, 162 career batting average against.
And Vogelbach draws a walk, so he's aboard to start the 4th, and we check in with Steve.
So, guys, if you're a Mets fan out there and you're enjoying watching Kodai Senga pitch this season early on, you may want to give a little tip of the cap to Yu Darvish, because he had a little something to do with it. Back in 2018, Kodai Senga, still pitching in Japan, he wanted to pitch in the big leagues, but he wasn't sure if he was good enough. And so, sight unseen, he reached out to Yu Darvish. He did not know him prior to sending him a message, and he just asked Yu Darvish, hey, what do I have to do to be good enough to pitch in the big leagues? And Darvish, rather than just answer, went above and beyond and told Senga, why don't you come out to Dallas this offseason, spend a week with me at my house, work out with me, we'll talk all about it. And what Senga said is that it kind of changed his entire trajectory. The one big thing that Darvish kept talking about was utilizing the extra time in between starts in Japan to get stronger, to lift more weights, to prepare himself to pitch in a 5-man rotation when he came over here. So, Senga was blown away by what Darvish did, and he actually went back the offseason after as well. So, spent a couple off seasons working out with Darvish, getting prepared to eventually come over to America.
Yeah, he wanted to get posted in 2019, but Fukuoka would not do it. So it took him a couple more years, as his mentor, Yu Darvish, is going through a little spell of losing his control here.
Walk to Vogelbach, 2-1 to Canna. And Mark lines one right to the shortstop, Bogarts, for the first out. Well, Senga's next start will be Friday in Oakland to open up that West Coast road trip, and he'll be opposed by a guy he faced many, many times with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, Shintaro Fujinami, who pitched for the Hanshin Tigers. They're one of their rivals in the Japanese Pacific League, so that'll be interesting. I mean, every time he goes to the mound, it's interesting on some level or other. He's been a fascination so far, and really, in an early season where the Mets haven't performed particularly well and they've had injuries, he's been the brightest light. He's been the guy who's drawn the most attention for good reason, because he's the one guy you just didn't know coming into the season how he was going to fare and what it was going to look like.
He's brought the most excitement to me when he's pitched so far. Maybe it's the ghost, but when he faces Fujinami on Friday in Oakland, the best pitch for Fujinami is the split finger as well.
Does he call it anything special?
Ghost breaker.
Well, Ichiro Suzuki has set the standard by which every Japanese-born player is measured. But Yu Darvish, among pitchers, has had the most successful career of any Japanese player. I mean, Hideo Nomo was more of a phenomenon, but his level of excellence didn't last as long as Darvish's has.
Yeah.
Although Nomo gets big points because he threw a no-hitter at Coors Field. I mean, come on. Nobody does that. 1-2 to Guillorme, and he struck him out with a splitter. Third strikeout for Darvish, 2 out in the inning.
So he's lost his slider a little bit, but he has so many options to go to, especially against the left-hander. He can go to that split finger.
So 2 out after the leadoff walk, and now Escobar grounded out to short his first time up. Mets lead 2-0 on Jeff McNeil's 2-run double in the third. You would have to think that the 5th might be the last inning for Scherzer tonight. Max has already thrown 79 pitches because of all the full counts. So the Mets are going to need a lot of bullpen to get through this game. And I'm sure Buck is already contemplating how he's going to handle those last 4 innings.
I think you'll have to watch close, though, Gary, because he's had the same pitch count in his first 2 starts entering the 6th, and that has been an Achilles heel for him. So you'll have to watch close in the 5th.
2-0 to Escobar. And Darvish spins a slider in for a strike, 2-1.
You know, Gary, Ron, I've been watching the hitters off this. It's really a frisbee breaking ball. And it gets a lot of hitters to fly their shoulder out. There's got to be a lot of deception with this break.
I like the way Ronnie describes it, about how it seems to go straight and then catch the air.
Yeah, I was telling Keith, it reminds me of real good bowlers where the ball goes down the lane and it never snaps till the very end and then hits the pocket.
Escobar uses his timeout.
This is reinventing the time sign, timeout sign.
Well, that's the hitter.
Yeah,
hitter time. Vogel back at first with 2 down, 2-2 to Escobar. And he lifts one foul.
Darvish throwing a lot of secondary stuff.
Well, in his first start, he threw his fastball only 39% of the time against Arizona. It's probably about the same or less tonight. 2-2 coming. Popped it up. Shallow right. Kim out. Odor in. And Odor stops and allows the experienced infielder out for the inexperienced outfielder. 2-0 Mets. Laura Mars have nothing on Max Scherzer.
Faye Dunaway.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Fifth inning, Scherzer at 79 pitches. We'll get 6, 7, and 8 in the San Diego order. Cronenworth, Kim, and Odor. And a first pitch curveball in for a strike to Jake Cronenworth. Broke his bat and flied out to right his first time up. Max has walked 3, struck out 5. There's not a lot of hit over the first 4 innings. That's drilled out to center field, but plenty of room for Nimmo to operate. 1 out. Let's see what Max has thrown so far.
Well, it's interesting that he's gone to that four-seamer 54% of the time, because that four-seamer, when it's been put in play against him so far, hitters are 9 for 18. So
first 2 starts combined, he threw his fastball only 44%. So he's using a lot more tonight. Here's Ha-Sung Kim, who took the call third strike his first time. And he gets first pitch slider off the plate for ball 1. That's line to center. Nimmo coming on. We'll have to play this one on the hop. And Kim has the first hit of the night for San Diego.
Got himself a hanging slider right there. Stayed flat, belt high, over the middle.
Everything's related. He just missed with the slider, so he tried to grab a little more plate, and he grabbed too much plate.
Now Rougned Odor, who walked and got as far as third base in the third. And Odor swings through the high fastball, 0-1.
Odor's got a real uppercut. He's going to have a hard time catching up to anything about at the letters with some mustard on it.
Odor filling in right now in right field until Fernando Tatis is eligible to play, which will be 10 days from now. Foul tipped, and it's 0-2. Tatis serving out the remainder of his suspension for PEDs.
Odor has always been the same hitter, Keith. He's always been a guy that hits for a low average. He's had a couple of seasons where he's hit 30+ home runs. That's what he's up there to do.
And I bet you those home runs are below the waist, down in the strike zone. That's where that's his happy area.
Played for Baltimore last year, hit 13 home runs, but batted just .207. And he pops this one up. Nido and Escobar converging, and it's Nido to make the catch. 2 out.
Escobar wisely pulled off. He wanted that pop-up, but Nido had it covered.
It's because the last time a ball went up in that area, Nido didn't see it. This time he saw it, he wanted it.
You know, it's one of those where it's Escobar's ball, kind of, but he saw Nido camped and didn't want a collision, because Nido had sold out.
There's Austin Nola. Fifth inning recap brought to you by Ford. 2-run double for Jeff McNeil, the only scoring. Scherzer has had a lot of deep counts. He's thrown a lot of pitches, but he's got himself a 2-0 lead in the fifth. Got a chance for a quick inning here if he can get Nola. And it's bounced foul, and it's 0-1. And if he can get Nola in the next pitch or two, then maybe he can go out there and pitch the 6th inning. Threw 91 and 95 pitches in his first 2 starts. Hasn't had a quick inning yet. Kim at first with 2 out. Kim keeps running happy feet over there at first base, like he's going to be taking off. Hasn't gone yet. Scherzer's thrown over once.
You don't want to make the third outage with your 9-hitter up.
0-2 to Nola. And he couldn't get him to bite at the slider. 1-2. Trent Grisham would be next. 1-2 from Scherzer. A little bit high. 2-2. That's Barksdale. Pretty good strike zone so far.
He's been calling a good game.
90 pitches now for Max. 2-2 to Nola. It's tight. Full count.
With all that faking now, Ha-Seong Kim can run from first base finally.
Interesting how Pettis will hold him on.
8th full count already for Scherzer. Kim gets set to move. 3-2 coming to Nola. And that's 2 throwovers because why not? He's going to be running on a 3-2 pitch anyway. Of course, on the 3rd throwover, you have to either pick him off or to balk.
Nice. How about that? Number 12, too. Number 12 in your heart.
Keeping a warm running.
Yes.
3-2. Foul back into the screen.
That's a good swing by Nola there.
Austin Nola, older brother of Aaron, star pitcher with the Phillies. Austin really had to scramble to get to the big leagues. He converted from infielder to catcher, and that's enabled him to forge a career. Again, the 3-2, and again a good swing on a high fastball, and he fouled it back.
That's something, though, right? For a family to have 2 kids in the major leagues.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, Aaron came quickly and was a star from day one, and it's a little different path for Austin. And you know, they both have their way of making a family proud in their own way. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Nola, and he fouls that one back. Scherzer keeps feeding them fastballs, and Nola keeps fouling them away.
This is just adding to the pitch total on Max here.
Yep. I mean, again, we said it at the start of the at-bat. 1 or 2 pitch at-bat here. He probably gets the 6th now. Less likely. About to throw his 95th pitch. And that time a breaking ball. It was fouled off.
McNeil in right is playing as if Nola is a left-hand pull hitter. Straight up in center and gapping in left, so they feel he's an opposite field hitter.
10th pitch of the at-bat coming from Scherzer to Nola. And he fouls back another one. They're going to wear out poor Ha-Seong Kim. Running on 5 straight pitches.
That one almost got here. A little bit to our left.
Harry said no way.
Keith,
I know.
it's year 15 in this booth.
I know. Yes.
Haven't had one yet. Again, the 3-2. And on the 11th pitch, Scherzer strikes out Nola to end the inning. 5 scoreless innings for Max Scherzer, 6 strikeouts, 2-0 New York halfway through. Twice through the batting order, 8 full counts, 3 walks, but only 1 hit, and 5 scoreless innings. And he is done. John Curtis is getting up in the Mets bullpen. That's coming to bat in the 5th against Yu Darvish with Tomas Nido to lead off. Nido popped up his first time up.
Max was very careful, deliberate, and paid respect to this lineup. It's deep and tough.
Nemo and Lindor to follow for the Mets in the home 5th. Darvish has Nido flailing at a slider, and it's 1-1. There's Curtis. That mean we can look forward to hearing a little Jimi Hendrix?
Yes.
Voodoo Child. I'm not so sure. Was that an Electric Ladyland album? That's what that song was. Not sure.
Yeah.
Well, Darvish behind on the number 9 hitter, 3-1. Darvish has walked only one, but he's begun running some deep counts the last 2 innings. He threw a breaking ball on 3-1 to Nito.
Well, you know, Keith was mentioning before, and I was thinking that his secondary pitch is his fastball. His primary pitches are the ones he spins, the slider and cutter.
It's really true of so many pitchers these days. And another breaking ball. This is hit well out to right, but Odor drifting back. And he makes the catch, 1 out. So that's their 3rd time around the batting order against Darvish. Brandon Nimmo got the Mets 2-out rally started in the 3rd with a base hit up the middle. He stole 2nd. Came around to score on Jeff McNeil's 2-run double. And that's been all the scoring in the game. Nimmo with that base hit snapped an 0-for-11 stretch. You don't even notice the offers with Nimmo because he's on base so much. He came into the day with a 192 batting average and a 421 on base percentage. That's grounded toward the middle. This time Ken gets over. Oh, you saw that graphic that Darvish was the runner-up in the Cy Young balloting in the American League in 2013. He was the runner-up to Max Scherzer.
That's right.
Who won the award in 2013. I just saw a note that Alcantara gave him 9 earned runs tonight, most by a defending Cy Young Award winner since Max Scherzer in 2014. He had a game where he gave up 10. 2 out, nobody on for Lindor. And he takes a fastball strike. Lindor hit on the leg by a pitch his last time up. And motored around for first on McNeil's double.
Boy, the pitch timer went to 0 before he delivered that pitch.
Kind of like delay of game in football. They give you that 0.
They do?
Before they blow the whistle. Oh, yeah. See, here it's not up to the umpire's eyes. He's got an actual buzzer on his person. And if the pitcher does not start his move with his leg before the buzzer, then he calls the violation. The rule about moving your leg to start the pitch timer has caused some pitchers to alter their pre-pitch movements. Most notably Luis Garcia of the Astros, who had that whole shimmy rock the baby thing going on.
Well, if you notice, because of the hybrid windup of Darvish, that he will hang that leg at 3-2 seconds and won't deliver it until it's almost 0.
Well, as long as he starts his movement before 0, he's good. Doesn't have to deliver the pitch, just has to either step back or lift his lead leg.
Nestor Cortez could raise it at 8 seconds and might not get it off in time.
Andy Pettit has to do that a lot. Pettit with a runner at first could hang that leg forever.
That's why he had all those pickoffs.
Well, Lindor was down in the count 0-2, and he's worked it full with McNeil hoping for a turn on deck. And Lindor foul tips it for strike 3. Darvish with a 3-2 slider gets his 4th strikeout. He's retired 6 straight. Mets up 2-0 after 5. Instead of that, I think Hey Joe is your walk into the city.
I always thought the Beastie Boys couple songs.
All right, amen. And John Curtis comes in to pitch the 6th inning for New York and gets a swinging strike to Trent Grisham. Curtis last pitched on Saturday, and he was terrific. 4 up and 4 down. Now coming on in relief of Scherzer with a 2-0 lead in the 6th. Grisham has walked and taken a call, 3rd strike. Grisham, Machado, and Soto at the top of the San Diego batting order. And a fastball off the plate to Grisham, 2-1. Scherzer threw 97 pitches in 5 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. And the nice thing about April is you can have a 6.35 ERA going in, and it goes down by almost 2 runs with a good outing. 4.41 now for Max. Fouled back by Grisham, 2-2. Well, Seth Lugo back in New York. Pitched yesterday for the Padres and pitched very well again. He's had 2 good starts in a row. Seth said before the game that he had 6 or 8 teams who were interested in him as a starter, and that the reason he never talked with the Mets is because the Mets had no intention of making him a starter. They believed in him as a reliever, which he's been so effectively. But he always wanted to be a starter, and now he's got his wish.
You know, all of us are happy that he's given that chance.
Yes.
One of the good guys.
Yep. 2-0, 1.38 through his first 2 starts. That's good.
Yeah.
Three-2 from Curtis, and it's grounded down to Alonso. Curtis covers, 1 out. And Bob Melvin said before the game today that they don't have any kind of hard cap on Lugo, even though he's never been a full-time starter in the big leagues. They're going with 6 starters right now, and you know, just Joe Musgrove probably needs 1 more start before he's ready to go. So they've got some depth enough that they can, you know, get Lugo through a full season of pitching as a starter.
I mean, finally, a manager not giving a cap. Why would you give a cap?
Well, Tampa Bay didn't score 4 tonight, but they're 10-0.
Wow.
Their run differential now 76-18.
He used an opener tonight.
Why?
Just try something different.
Swinging a miss by Machado, 1-1.
Machado has not made contact with a fastball all night.
Struck out and popped up against Scherzer in his 2 at-bats. The slider stayed high, and he stopped the swing. 2-1. By the way, we mentioned Musgrove, who broke his toe when he dropped the weight on it in spring training. He was out on rehab, and he hit the ground hard trying to make a play on a ground ball. That's it down to third. Escobar on the backhand. 1 third baseman throws out the other, 2 out. Anyway, Musgrove needs a cortisone shot in his shoulder as a result of that fall. That's going to set him back a little bit, but they still think he'll be back in the next week to 10 days.
Nice backhand by Escobar. He is a good glove man.
This is probably a good thing Musgrove didn't pitch in this series. Became public enemy #1 among Met fans because of the perception that he was cheating in the deciding game of the Met season. Here's Juan Soto, who's walked and fouled out 0 for 1. And the fastball misses low, ball 1. Well, the decision to sign John Curtis last year when he was on the shelf with Tommy John surgery looks like it's going to pay off in spades.
Wherever he's gone, he's always been entrusted with some big outs, and this is, to me, his biggest outing in a Mets uniform.
Behind on Soto, 2-0 and 3-0.
Soto pounding on that right hip, almost imploring it to stay closed.
And he takes a strike. Well, at least he didn't toss the shin guard away.
That was quite a display yesterday.
3-1 coming, and that's too high, ball 4. Well, you're talking about Jazz Chisholm, and you know what concerned Buck Showalter about that was that when the 2 times that Chisholm in the first confrontation threw the shin guard away, the pitch clock waited for him to regain the shin guard and put it back on. Now the question is,
not supposed to.
Why should it have reset?
Exactly.
Shin guard or the bat?
Well, he tossed the bat and the shin guard.
Okay. So it was rewarding misbehavior.
Xander Bogaerts has grounded into a double play and flied out, tying run at the plate in a 2-0 game. And Curtis spins a slider down. And now he has thrown 6 of the last 7 out of the strike zone, prompting the visit from Nito. Retired the first 2 hitters on ground balls, walked Soto, and now behind on a very dangerous hitter in Bogaerts, 2-0. Now Curtis ready for the 2-0. And Bogaerts takes that outside. It's 3-0. Well, you know he's got the green light here. That Carpenter would be next. And Bogaerts takes a strike, 3-1. Soto a short lead, and that's outside, ball 4. So back-to-back 2-out walks issued by Curtis. 5 walks by Met pitchers tonight. And that'll bring Matt Carpenter up with the tying runs on base. Scherzer handled Carpenter his first 2 at-bats, struck him out both times. Padres have drawn 5 walks in this game. They have just 1 hit, a Ha-Sung Kim base hit in the 5th. Soto at second, Bogaerts at first with 2 out. And Carpenter gets first pitch slider for a strike, 0-1.
Carpenter loves the ball down.
Yep.
Loves it down and in. He's quick inside.
And a pull hitter.
Drew Smith getting ready. He swings through the fastball, fouls it back, and it's 0-2. Texas Longhorn John Curtis facing TCU Horned Frog Matt Carpenter. Struck him out. Curtis fans Carpenter on 3 pitches to strand a pair. Still 2-0 New York. Base hit. That'll bring in Nimmo in the first run of the game. They're going to send Lindor home. The throw by Kim to the plate. Not in time. McNeil to third. It's 2-0 New York. And that was the 2 runs that have been scored in this game. They came in the 3rd inning on 1 swing of the bat by Jeff McNeil. Elevated to the 3rd spot in the batting order with Starling Marte out tonight. He was in the right place at the right time to drive in a pair against Yu Darvish, who remains out there for the 6th. 79 pitches for Darvish through 5. McNeil takes one at his feet for ball 1. McNeil, Alonso, and Vogelback in the 6th. Mets have 3 hits. The Padres have but 1. Last time these two teams played here, it was the Mets, who had only one hit. And McNeil tries to lay off, but it's in for a strike anyway. It's 1-1.
Picture perfect backdoor breaking ball.
Well, there's the slow curve. First time we've seen that tonight. 1-2.
He's got a slower one as well.
McNeil 1 for 2 tonight. Double was his 4th of the year. That leads the team. Alonso waits on deck. And McNeil wades in one of the dirt. Good splitter there by Darvish to get the strikeout. Nola with the toss to complete the putout. 5 strikeouts now for Darvish.
It's not very often that you see McNeil go down so rapidly and made to look bad. So credit to Darvish's stuff.
So 1 out now. Alonso. He's taking a call, 3rd strike, and flied out 0 for 2. Darvish throws the baseball out of play. He gets the new ball and they reset the pitch clock. Now, if he doesn't like that ball, can he toss that one out of play and reset it again?
I haven't got that addendum. That's an addendum part of the new rules.
Well, I think what they tried to impart to us was that it's up to the umpire's discretion. That if they feel as though a player is trying to circumvent the pitch clock, then they can act accordingly. Darvish behind Alonso, 2-0. And spins one low, 3-0. All right, so there's some measure of Darvish's pitch usage. The sweeper is actually his slider. So he's thrown 28% fastballs if you have the 4-seamers and the 2-seamers. So that's a very low number. Throws a fastball 3-0, and Alonso hammers one to Bogaerts, who gets up and throws him out. Beautiful play by Xander Bogaerts to retire Alonso, 2 out.
Well, I've seen some good defense here. Look at Bogaerts top of your screen. Little beautiful play.
I mean, playing him to pull, so had to go a long distance.
Pops up. Just a real good play.
So 2 out and nobody on for Vogelbach, who's been aboard twice tonight. A pop fly single in the 2nd, a leadoff walk in the 4th. He was the last man to reach against Darvish. He was retired 8 in a row. Darvish about to throw his 90th pitch. And spins that slider in for a strike, 1-1. Vogelbach fouls one into the ground, 1-2. Drew Smith getting ready in the Mets bullpen after John Curtis got himself into and out of trouble in the 6th. Looks like Drew gets the 7th, then you figure Ottavino in the 8th, and Robertson in the 9th is the way Buck might be thinking about it. One-two coming. Fly ball head out to left field, and there's Soto ambling back and puts it away to retire on the side. 9 straight retired by Darvish. 2-0 Mets after 6. for tonight. Max Scherzer, a lot of pitches, but on his game.
Yeah, 8-3-2 counts, I think you said, Gary. He pitched very careful against this lineup. Did not give in to them like he might have had to. Well, not had to, but suffered from the home run ball right the first couple of starts and was tremendous over his 5 innings.
Don Curtis contributed a scoreless 6th, and now Drew Smith on to pitch the 7th with Jake Cronenworth to lead off, and a fastball in for a strike to Cronenworth, 0-1. Cronenworth's been up twice, flied out both times. Kim and Odor to follow, 6, 7, and 8 in the San Diego batting order. They've been limited to 1 hit tonight. Slider fouled off by Cronenworth, and it's 0-2.
Well, 5th game for Drew Smith. Couple of earned runs allowed.
His last outing, he gave up a run. He walked the leadoff hitter Brian De La Cruz, gave up a hit, and eventually De La Cruz came around to score. And he takes care of Cronenworth on 3 pitches. 96-mile-an-hour heat from Drew for the first out. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, time now for the live odds presented by PointsBet. Pregame, Mets were minus 140 to win the game, up 2-0 in the 7th. It's now 750 favor of the Mets. That's all, guys. Back to you.
I thought you had something to add.
No, that's it. I just wanted everybody to know.
Did you want to make a recommendation to the folks whether they should
a little late.
Jump in?
That's a little late.
Okay.
Minus 750, not worth it.
Diamond Steve Gelbs.
Ha-Seong Kim has the only Padres hit tonight, a single up the middle in the 5th. And Smith fires a fastball off the plate, ball and a strike. Well, Buck Showalter's had to be on his A game all day today, not just handling his team. Today's a very important day for Buck. It's his wife Angela's birthday. And nothing is more important than making sure your wife has a nice birthday.
He's been walking around. We had a meeting with him today. He was walking on eggshells.
So happy birthday, Angela. Happy birthday also to Nancy Picker, wife of our producer. Nancy having a birthday today. What she's doing with him, I have no idea.
We're all a little above our skis.
Yeah,
to tell you the truth.
That's the truth. 2-2 to Kim. And the slider just outside, 3-2. And there's 10 full counts for Met pitchers tonight. Normally that's not a recipe for success. And there's ball 4 to Kim. That's 6 walks issued by Met pitchers. Ooh. The Phillies just keep adding on after hanging 9 on Sandy Alcantara. Phillies came into the day 3-6, getting out some frustrations. They lost a tough one yesterday to the Reds. They had a lead in the 9th, but Sir Anthony Dominguez gave up the big hit to Jake Fraley, a 3-run double, after the Phillies had rallied to win in the 9th the day before. Rougned Odor takes a knee-high fastball for a strike, 0-1. We asked the question before the season about the new scoreboard, whether it would be distracting.
It is. How do you keep your eyes off of it? I mean, obviously the hitters, the backdrop is fine, but boy, that is. I just got to believe that it's got to be a little bit of a distraction. You really got to keep your eye level down.
I would think if you had a particularly tall pitcher with an overhead delivery, then we might have more of a problem. I would be most concerned about the white letters at the bottom of the scoreboard. But I haven't heard anybody complain yet, so maybe it's fine. It's a big scoreboard, though. Biggest in Major League Baseball, that's for sure. 0-2 to Odor.
Odor's tardy.
He's got that uppercut swing. He's never going to touch a ball at the letters.
Kim at first with 1 out, 0-2 to Odor with Austin Nola on deck. And he struck him out. High heat from Drew Smith. His second strikeout of the inning.
High target from Nito. Scouting report, they know where to pitch him. And got beat big time. Smith really throwing a lot of fastballs. Good life on his fastball.
He's thrown the first pitch strike to all three hitters. Now he takes on the number 9 hitter Nola, who's grounded out and struck out. And he throws a fastball by him. Fastball's wicked.
Other than the walk to Kim, he's been more aggressive versus the hitters than he has been in any relief appearance this year.
One to Nola. Shane Bieber went 7 tonight against the Yankees. Guardians beat the Yankees 3-2. Driven toward the gap in right center. Racing back is Nimmo, and he makes the catch. A little superfluous jump there, but he was there to grab it on a hard hit ball by Nola to end the top of the 7th. 2-0 New York.
Gyros.
Spectrum 1 brings you high-speed hitting. Pete Alonso's got the hardest hit ball by far tonight. There's the play Xander Bogaerts made going up the middle to take a base hit away from Pete. 109 off the bat. Yu Darvish will stay in to pitch the bottom of the 7th. Mark Canha leads off for New York. Canha's 0 for 2, lined out to short his last time up. The Padres are a little short in their bullpen right now. They've got great closer in Josh Hader, but with Robert Suarez and Drew Pomeranz both on the sidelines, getting through the 7th and 8th inning has been a bit of a chore for them. And so they pushed their starters further than any team has. The starters have averaged more innings per start than any other team in the National League. Here's Darvish working in the 7th. Canha takes a knee-high fastball, and it's 1-2. Canha, Guillorme, and Escobar. David Robertson getting ready for the 8th with the top of the order coming up. Among the Mets right-handers, Buck feels the most confident with Robertson against left-hand hitters. With that cutter curveball combination. You got 2 left-hand hitters, Grisham and Soto, at the top of the batting order, flanking Machado. Tim Hill, the side-arming lefty, and Steven Wilson, he of the Slutter, is up in the bullpen. 1-2 to Canha, off the corner. And the cutter, 2-2. Darvish has retired 9 in a row since he walked Vogelbach leading off in the 4th. This has been a pitcher's night. Canha drives one toward the left field corner. That ball's going to be off the base of the wall. And Mark pulls in at second base with a leadoff double.
Really turns on this fastball inside. He's quick inside, Canha. There it is. That's on the black, and he's up to it.
Fourth double of the year for Canha. So the Mets have a runner in scoring position. Guillorme, the batter. The corners are in, expecting a bunt. And Guillorme drops down a bunt that hugs the line, and it might stay fair. They let it roll, and it's a fair ball.
Sweet.
How about that? Lay him down, Ziggy. He couldn't have rolled it out there any better.
Perfect. Stayed away from the lip of the grass. Kind of touched it there and just stayed on inside the chalk.
just perfection.
Lenny Randall when you need him.
To blow it foul. First and third and nobody out. Now Escobar is 0 for 2 tonight. And Eduardo takes one down for ball 1. Escobar is grounded out and popped up. That's now with 5 hits, including 2 in this inning. A double by Canna and a tantalizing bunt single from Guillorme. Escobar swings and misses at a fastball, 1-1. He was thinking 3-run homer on that pitch.
Base hit.
When you're struggling and trying to get your season going, don't be swinging for the downs.
And he lines one the other way, tagging at third Canna. Soto makes the catch. Here comes Canna. Soto's throw to the plate is offline, and Canna scores to make it 3-0 New York. Sacrifice fly for Escobar to drive in his 4th run of the year.
Up fastball, and he goes with it. Doesn't try to pull. Soto does not have a strong arm. Throws a rainbow in.
So Escobar gets the run home. Guillorme held at first, 1 out. Now Nito. And Darvish doesn't like this baseball. Well, 102 pitches now for Darvish, who threw 91 in his first start. Hill has been up. Probably going to bring him in to face Nimmo, who's next. But first it's Nito, who's popped up and flied out 0 for 2. It's got 2 runs in the 3rd out of the Jeff McNeil double. And now they've tacked on here in the 7th. Robertson gets ready for the top of the 8th. And Nito takes a fastball strike, 0-1. Tapped slowly up the third baseline. Same spot. Can you believe this? It's going to stay on the line. Oh, man. That is incredible. Twice in 1 inning, the ball rolls to a stop on the third base line. Huh. Wow. What are the odds?
It wanted to go foul. It just ran out of steam.
Right on the edge of the chalk. Not a bunt, but a swinging bunt. And that's going to be all for you, Darvish, as Drew Smith is delighted. You is something less than delighted.
It's like Velcro ball.
Call to the bullpen brought to you by Nissan. Shop NissanUSA.com. Little roller to short by Nimmo. Bogarts gets the out at second. They throw to third, hoping to get Guillorme turning, but he was not biting. So on the first pitch thrown by Tim Hill, Nimmo rolls into a fielder's choice for the 2nd out. And the Mets have runners to the corners for Francisco Lindor. Now the Mets have had fortune on their side in this inning. It's more fitting an Easter egg roll a day late. 33-year-old Tim Hill dealing to Lindor, and his fastball misses down for ball one.
Since his debut, he's inherited 193 runs, so he's always coming into the fire. Is Tim Hill.
Last year, 55 appearances for Hill, 1 home run. Lindor takes cutter inside, 2-0. Darvish went 6 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs so far, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, a hit batsman, 104 pitches for Darvish. Most thrown in the big leagues this year so far, 111. Ohtani. Line down the left field lineup, base hit for Lindor into the corner. That'll bring in Guillorme. Digging for third is Nimmo. He's going to score. It's a 2-run double for Francisco Lindor. And it's 5-0 New York.
Gets that fastball, 2-0 count. Thought it was a good matchup for Lindor. Here's Nimmo on the backside. He's going to score. Well, not easily, but he can fly. And he's chugging. And that's your game breaker right there.
RBIs number 6 and 7 for Lindor, who drove in 107 last year. So the book closed on Darvish, all 5 runs charged to him. And now McNeil, who drove in the first 2 runs, flies one down the left field line, slicing toward the crowd, now to play. Began with a double by Cano off the base of the fence in left field, but then 2 remarkable hits. Guillorme with a bunt, Nito with a swinging bunt. Both stopped dead along the third base line, and the Mets have cashed both of those in.
So you pick it up in the morning, you pick up the paper, look at the box score, and you look at Darvish's numbers, and you think, oh boy, he got hit hard. No, we did. No, we did.
Chalk-stained rollers. Hill watches a fastball up and away, 1-2. And Hill goes outside with a slider, 2-2.
Boy, Jeff is really choking up on that bat, more than usual. That is a good, what, 4 inches?
He lines this one into the glove of Kim, and that's how the inning ends. Hardest hit ball of the inning from McNeil, but the Mets cash 3 and lead 5-0 after 7. And so far the bullpen has been terrific. John Curtis and Drew Smith combining for 2 scoreless. Now David Robertson will get the 8th against the top of the San Diego batting order, with the Mets up 5-0. And Trent Grisham takes a cutter for a strike, 0-1.
Got the save on Saturday, made quick work of the Marlins in his inning of work.
Just 11 pitches in that 1-2-3 inning, and he gets one in for a strike. And it's 0-2 to Grisham, who's walked, struck out, and grounded out 0 for 2. The Padres have had just 1 hit. It was Ha-Sung Kim in the 5th. Grounder up the middle, and a good changeup or slider to get him.
I don't know what it was. The ball went away, down and away, so it looked like a changeup. But
changeup.
See what the grip is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is a changeup.
Circle change.
And
that's a pitch you don't see him throw very often.
Look at that ball run away. Ooh. Good sink.
So 1 out now. Manny Machado, who's had a rough night, struck out, popped up, grounded out 0 for 3. First cutter at the knees for a strike, 0-1. Machado just 1 for 11 in his career against Robertson.
that cutter away, a ball and a strike. Juan Soto, the on deck batter. And that one's popped up into shallow right center. Who's going to get it? Nimmo coming on and catches it as McNeil slides out of the way. Second time that McNeil was had to employ evasive maneuvers on a ball that Nimmo caught. So 2 out and nobody on. Well, David Robertson has been an absolute warrior throughout his career, and it makes sense that this is what he would say. Doesn't care what inning he pitches in, just wants to pitch, just wants to win.
For a long time, the beginning of his career, the 9th was off limits.
Yeah, but
why does he get the dig in?
Why did he do?
Oh, yeah, he got the timeout before the at-bat started, but
jeez,
you know, he might not have been closing early in his career, but who better to learn that cutter from than Mariano Rivera? And that's become Robertson's primary weapon that has enabled him to have a long and successful career. Robertson gets the curveball in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
They pitched Soto tough today. He's had some tough pitches.
Walked twice, otherwise 0 for 1. And moves out of the way. 2-1.
He's throwing that changeup pretty hard, 87 miles per hour.
The rather enormous Domingo Tapia is up in the bullpen. Half swing, and he went around. 2-2.
You see that very often from Soto.
Two out and nobody on. 2-2 to Soto. Just missed away. Full count. Xander Bogaerts would be next. Soto's already walked twice tonight. And he swings through the fastball, strike 3. 1-2-3 for Robertson in the top of the 8th. 5-0 New York.
Social channels for a chance to win the Gary, Keith, and Ron signed bobblehead set giveaway presented by Tri-State Cadillac Dealers.
If it's Gary, Keith, and Ron, why, when you look at the bobblehead, does it say Keith, Ron, Gary?
Manufacturing. Oh, I don't know.
I wouldn't think about it too much. It's not worth it.
Okay. 6'3", 263-pound Domingo Tapia is on the pitch in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, you see the runs allowed. In his first 4 pitches for his debut for San Diego, he gave up a couple home runs, but better since then.
Pete Alonso, first man to face him, and he takes a sinker inside for ball 1. Tapia has pitched 54 games in relief in the major leagues for 5 different teams. That's hard to do. Red Sox, Mariners, Royals, Oakland, and now in his 5th game for San Diego.
Become very irritable with that many cups of coffee.
It's a lot of stickers on your luggage. Pete lines one to right field. Coming on is Odor, who makes a nice shoestring catch. Well, for a guy who doesn't have much experience in the outfield, Odor's look good tonight. It's not an easy play. 1 out.
Pete really has learned how to go to the opposite field. Nice play by Odor. Got it on the heel of the glove.
Before this week, Odor had never played a game in the outfield in Little League, in high school, in the minors. Played a couple in spring training. Making his 4th start out there tonight. Here's Vogelbach. Singled and walked tonight, 1 for 2. In the 9th, the Mets are going to be bidding for their first shutout victory of the season. And their first ever win against Yu Darvish, who came in 5-0 lifetime in the regular season and 1-0 in the postseason. The Mets hung 5 on him tonight. Vogelbach takes a strike, 2-1. Mets have allowed only 1 hit tonight. First time they've done that since their combined no-hitter last April. 3-1 to Vogelbach with Marcana on deck.
This is really a heavyweight match here.
Vogelbach skies one into left center. Soto taking charge. 2 out. In the 9th inning, the Padres are due to send up Bogarts, Carpenter, and Cronenworth. Adam Ottavino is getting ready in the Mets bullpen after Robertson worked a 1-2-3/8. Here's Canha, who doubled and scored in the Mets' 3-run 7th. That gave them some space in this game. It was 2-0 for a very long time after McNeil's 2-run double in the 3rd. There's Ottavino. But Canha's double got the Mets started. Those 2 chalk grabbers set the stage for Lindor's 2-run double, and the Mets had themselves a 5-0 lead. They're going to have to redo the chalk tomorrow. I guess they always do. I don't think the grounds crew tilted things in that direction tonight, did you? I mean, the Mets are not a team that, they don't have a team with Juan Pierre's and Brett Butler's who would take advantage of such a thing. But it certainly worked out in their favor. And Canha goes down on strikes. 1-2-3 inning for Domingo Tapia. We go to the 9th. It's 5-0 New York. Adam Ottavino tries to get the final 3 outs in the opening game of the series against San Diego. Max Scherzer went 5, allowed no runs, 1 hit. John Curtis, Drew Smith, David Robertson each threw a hitless, scoreless inning, and now Ottavino tries to put on the finishing touches. The only hit came with 1 out in the 5th off the bat of Ha-Sung Kim.
Yeah, 1-0 slider for Max Scherzer. Dumps it in front of Nimmo.
Xander Bogaerts is 0 for 2 in a walk. The last time that the Padres were 1 hit, it was 2 years ago. They were facing the Dodgers, and the starting pitcher for the Dodgers that day, Max Scherzer.
There's everywhere, Max.
That's lined to the left, and they won't be 1 hit tonight. So leadoff base hit for Xander Bogaerts in the 9th.
The guys who are 300 hitters, they never have a game where they don't have a walk or a base hit.
You never want to give away the at-bats. Hanging slider right there. And Bogaerts gets his base hit. Instead of an 0 for 3, it's a 1 for 3, and you never know, it might start something.
Matt Carpenter's been up 3 times, struck out all 3. Twice against Scherzer and once against John Curtis. Bogaerts takes off, got a huge jump, and steals second. It's his first stolen base of the year. I mean, they take liberties against Ottavino anyway, but in this case, with a 5-0 lead, Adams not paying him any attention. There's really only so much Ottavino can do to slow down a running game because of the slowness of his delivery.
Yeah. That's part of his deception.
mean, it feels like he's going in slow motion, bringing his arm around his body.
The only issue you have is that you've gone, in his career, you've gone through a career where very few guys run. And that'll be different this year, especially by the end of the year.
2-2 to Carpenter. And he rockets one deep down the right field line. That's higher than the pole, but goes foul. Wow. We saw that a lot last year with Carpenter.
Yes.
That golf swing, hitting the ball into the short porch in right field at Yankee Stadium. 15 home runs and 154 at bats for the Yankees last year. That is some percentage. Again, the 2-2. Struck him out. One down in the ninth. Golden sombrero for Matt Carpenter. Wow. The 9th of his career.
It's a night you want to forget. That's right down the middle.
Coming up tonight after the post-game show, it's Honda Sports Night. Preview tomorrow's game with the Padres. All the rest of baseball tonight. Hockey as well. Here's Jake Cronenworth. 0 for 3 tonight. Bogart's at second. He's going to take off for third, and they'll let him go. It's a call strike to Cronenworth. They're going to give him defensive indifference there. The reason they gave him a steal on the first one is because Alonso was holding him on. And here the Mets showed no inclination to hold him or make a play. And Cronenworth has to move his feet. Ball and a strike. Phillies wound up beating the Marlins 15-3. They had 20 hits in that game.
It's going to be a long year for the Marlins.
Yeah, but they expect to compete the days Alcantara pitches, and not tonight. There's a good changeup by Ottavino, and it's 1-2.
Well, I really like that pitch for Adam because it has the same movement as his two-seamer, as his fastball that runs away from lefties.
One and two to Cronenworth with Kim on deck. Fouls away a fastball. Braves are starting a series at home against the Reds. They're 3-3 in the ninth tonight. 1-2 to Cronenworth. And he lays off the slider that misses low, and it's 2-2. Reds just tied that game at the top of the ninth. Reds had a lead going to the ninth. They lost their last 3 to the Padres. 2-2 coming. And a foul tip, strike 3. Another changeup by Ottavino. Back-to-back strikeouts. 2 down in the ninth.
Very effective pitch against the left-handers.
You know, Keith, that pitch is evolved. That pitch is better than it was last year. It has more movement on it.
I mean, Ottavino used to be a one-speed pitcher. Just a hard sinker, hard slider, sweeping slider. That is a weapon against left-handers.
So the Padres are down to their final out, and Ha-Sung Kim takes a fastball for a strike. And pitchers have struck out 13 tonight. 6 for Scherzer, 7 for the bullpen. Kim has a hit and a walk tonight, 1 for 2. And slider off the plate, a ball and a strike. John Curtis threw a hitless inning. Drew Smith threw a hitless inning. So did David Robertson. Ottavino gave up a hit to start the ninth. With the second hit for San Diego. 1-1 coming. And Kim takes a fastball strike. And now the Padres are down to their final strike. By the way, Lance Barksdale has called a great game tonight.
He certainly has.
1-2 coming to Kim. He
struck him out, and the ball game is over. Adam Ottavino gives up a hit, then strikes out 3 in a row. 14 strikeouts for the Mets tonight, and a 2-hit shutout. Max Scherzer goes 5 for the win. Big hits by McNeil and Lindor, and the Mets beat the Padres in the opener of the series 5-0.
Well, 7 hits for the Mets, and they made them count. The big double there by McNeil down the left field line off Darvish. In the 3rd inning, a 2-run double, and then Lindor off of Hill, the left-hander, kind of put the icing on the cake for the Mets with a 2-run double down the left field line. Played great defense. 2 balls rolled down the line. Kept that 3-run 7th inning rolling.
There's your game summary. Mets beat Yu Darvish for the first time ever. He was 5-0 in the regular season, 1-0 in the postseason. He takes the loss tonight. Scherzer 5 innings, 97 pitches, had a lot of full counts, but only gave up 1 hit tonight. And the Mets defeat the Padres 5-0. The Amazing Mets Foundation is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Cass Institute for Women's Health for every Mets win. For more information, visit northwell.edu/cats. The total contribution so far this season is $15,000. Mets beat the Padres 5-0 tonight. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment. Talking about how the Mets starting pitching has struggled, but their ace Max Scherzer gave them 5 terrific innings tonight.
Well, what you see the 3 walks up there, they were in the first 2 innings. He walked 2 batters in the first inning. He was kind of finding his sea legs, and I just felt he pitched a real crafty game. He mixed in his pitches through breaking balls, change-ups. I just thought it was just a sprinkling of all of his pitches and good command.
You know, we showed the graphic during the game. His pitch usage for the fastball was up from his first 2 starts. So he made all those fastballs count, which set up his secondary pitches.
Nothing in the middle of the plate, and after giving up 3 home runs in his last start, a terrific development for Scherzer. Mets win at 5-0. More from Flushing in just a moment. Drivers, Toyota has 20 models with all-wheel and 4-wheel drive Toyota Let's Go places. Buy Spectrum Internet for $49.99 a month, free advanced Wi-Fi and a free mobile line. Restrictions apply. Visit Spectrum.com. By Citizens Bank, made ready. And by Nissan. At Nissan, they make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself. Shop NissanUSA.com. Final score tonight, the Mets 5, Padres 0. Second game of the series tomorrow night. Battle of left-handers. David Peterson for the Mets. Ryan Weathers for the Padres. Coverage begins at 6:30 tomorrow night right here on SNY. Now for Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for PointsBet Post Game Live. Let's join Gary Apple and Todd Zeal in the studio. Guys?